Hello, welcome back to the Friends of Zeus podcast. We're running on kind of a skeleton crew. We may have some of the rest of the gang pop in, but tonight we're going to let our lovely guest Lena take the reins of this carriage, stagecoach, ship, whatever,
Wagon.
wagon.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Um, and I haven't been on for 2 weeks. So I've kind of missed out a little bit, but we've been wanting to talk about what's going on in Iran, how we feel about it, what we think is, going to happen from this, what we hope is going to happen from this, what we suspect will happen from this. But again, and I'm not like trying to like every time that Lena's on, we're going to talk about Iran.
I was gonna say
but
we need to
but it
switch it
happens to
up.
be the times, it's the times that we're in,
Yeah.
so it happens
Yeah.
to be beneficial that she has some real insight to it. And that being said, so we attacked Iran. Clearly, we did not do it in the manner that we did in Venezuela, where there was like six guys and they took out an army, which is very peculiar to me. But we did some real damage. And it looks like from my recent looking at the news that they got a new guy in there that's the son of the old guy. And apparently they're saying that he's even more hardline than the old guy,
New boss,
which
same as the old boss.
exactly. So Lena, why don't you tell us what you've been observing in the news about this and maybe parse out what is real versus what we're hearing that is not. I think would be a good launching point.
Well, I'm sure you guys are doing your own look, that those kind of people that you do your own research and you watch everything to know what's the truth. But honestly, what is heartbreaking these days is that lots of American people think that this is another regime change war, and they don't realize it that this is honestly defending ourselves. This is America defending American people war, the
Hmm.
war that should have been done 1978, 79, honestly. Not something. If this is, I know that Iranian people are benefiting from it. I know from Iranian people's side, it's humanitarian saving operation, not a war even on them. But at the first place, this is our war. This is
Hmm.
something that America should have done long, long time ago.
Well,
Hillary,
not necessarily us, anybody right thing.
absolutely,
You know what I mean? It didn't have
absolutely,
to be us. We just
and
happen to be the ones that do it.
absolutely. Well, Iran consider Israel as a they call them like the small devil in America,
Hmm.
great devil,
Hmm.
and it's been
You're talking about the
80,
leadership, right? Not the people.
not the
Well,
people, yeah, the IRGC, yeah,
yeah.
IRGC is calling Israel
Some of the
small.
people. I mean, there is a small percentage that are with the
Yeah, there
regime.
are 10% not
Small.
jobs still,
Yeah.
10%, yeah, which is still a lot. That means
Well, and
at
but
Four
least
but
million.
even
9
even
million.
with that, if
Yeah.
you break down the numbers, yeah, there's 10%, but maybe 4 or 5% of them will transfer over because they weren't really into it anyway. They
It's
were
a lot of
just,
people though.
been up with
Yeah.
the Joneses. They were protecting their families, whatever. Not the greatest choice, but I could see myself doing something in that ilk to protect my family and to keep them alive. I'm not saying I'm like Schindler, but you know what I mean? Like I would think that I would try and do something, but also keep my ethical standards alive. So there's probably there's 90 million people in Iran. So we're saying that there's 9 million that are straight
Terrorist.
up, but maybe we break that down to like 7 million, and then there's going to be the cowards that say, oh well, I can still bail out. So it may shrink, but that's still a lot of people that
Absolutely.
fucking hate
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like that's why this war has been extended this far and probably goes another 2 weeks or who knows, but it gotta end. And it wasn't only about killing the big head dudes, absolutely. But what I was saying that it breaks my heart that so many people see this as a regime change operation, a war, which is not. And as you mentioned, this is going to benefit the whole world. Like IRGC is funding all the terroristic groups around the world, including cartel. Like IRGC have been hiring cartel here in USA to do terroristic attacks since long time ago, since 4 years ago.
Hmm.
And including Hezbollah, Al Qaeda, Houthis,
Yeah,
ISIS,
the
all
Iran
are.
Contra scandal.
Yes, yeah. So some people say this is only for oil or whatever. It's not. Trump is the only one that actually care about Americans, and he is going full speed because he doesn't get another chance. And he's actually, and as I said, like Iranian people are benefiting from this, and they are celebrating. The real Iranians are celebrating, are dancing, even though they lost a dear one. I could say every family has lost a loved
Somebody.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But still, they are celebrating because this is what they were waiting for. Absolutely, it couldn't get done within. But my point is the Americans here that before the first missile hit Iran, they were out with this yellow sign, stop the war on Iran. This is
Hmm.
not the war that we started. This is a war that we are finishing absolutely. And it's been 47 years that Iran is calling for this war. They attempted to assassinate the United States president. I don't care who is it, it's Biden or Trump. I don't care. This is the United States president we're talking about. Like
Multiple
this is our
times.
dignity.
Yeah.
We cannot ignore this. And there are other people that to say, this is Israel war, which is absolutely again false. Israel can defend itself from, that area, the only country in the
They've
Middle
proven
East
that,
that
yeah.
has been, but they're allied. But that look what's happening in London. I'm sure that would slow down after IRGC is down also. Look what happened around the world. Absolutely, it does benefit the rest of the world, but first it benefits USA. And like President Trump has been playing this chess, I would say, that no one has ever played in the history. Within less than 60 days, he uh, brought down two big resources for China and Russia,
Hmm.
and which was a big point for geopolitical rise for China and Russia, like Venezuela down, IRGC down. So this is another point of view that how we are actually defending America, how we are defending our country.
Possibly Cuba
You
next.
know,
Yes, right?
if I may be
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
bold, I honestly don't think that Russia is as much of an enemy
Then
as I'm not
China.
as worried about. I think Russia is more prone to diplomacy. Like Putin just wants to, I think he just wants to be left alone. He wants to do his thing in Ukraine and then chill. China is just an unknown. And I'm not, I know so many Chinese people. I got no problem with Chinese people. Again, it's the 10% at the top that have the 90% below making them money. So it's not the people, it's the government that those people happen to live in. And they
Mostly,
may
yeah.
have those arguments about us, and maybe there's some validity to it. But I'm from America, so I'm gonna.
Well,
Yeah.
Putin is not stupid.
No, I've
Putin,
I've
if
said that
Putin,
multiple times.
yeah, Putin would attack America if he could trust himself and his military. China, on the other hand, of course, he trusts his military and so far trusts whatever he has. So that's why he is more obvious. Although China is very sneaky also. like I believe that they own most of the media in United States,
Hmm.
as well as owning lots of lands in United States. So, but Russia also is behind China. Russia is standing behind China, and Russia is actually, to me, playing double
A long
sword.
game.
Yeah, absolutely. He knows that he should not mess with America yet, just yet. But their ideology, the Soviet Union, the Marxist ideology is something that they are actually rooting for. And that's what is destroying most of societies these days, including
Hmm.
Iran, which if it wasn't for China in 1920s, we would never have this red and green alliance, which led and like half a century passed by and led to 1978 79 revolution.
Yeah.
I would say definitely they are a big threat, but for now they just know that they should not mess with America. So if we let our country down and if we don't protect it, one day we have to rush to get in a war with Russia also.
Which,
Again,
yeah.
I'm a big believer that these oligarchs, they don't spend their whole lives accumulating all these masses of riches to put the world at risk and not have anything left behind. So I still feel like the wars that we'll be having in the future, sure, there'll be feet on the ground, but I think the major wars are going to be more information, data, psychological, because Persia, actually, for instance, is a really good example of how um, countries are getting taken over by assimilation. So you don't take over
Well,
with feet on the ground. You take over by introducing yourself into that environment, assimilating with them, having children with them, starting families, changing religions on a slow basis until you don't know who you can fight because it could be your neighbor, it could be your sister. Do you feel what I'm saying? And that happened in Persia multiple. Well, I know of at least one time. I can't nail down what it was, but they were literally taken over by just people that came in and lived there and were kind and friendly, and then all of a sudden they
not
were
so
taken
much.
over. And that's my biggest concern here is we've got so many people that are in our society that and that's the tricky part about it. The people that are here ingraining themselves into our society aren't necessarily doing it from a malicious standpoint. They're doing it under the scope of we're going to go there, we're going to make better lives, and
Some,
then suddenly,
some.
what's that?
I
Yeah,
think
some.
some, not all. Like, I
But
mean,
but but what
the two
happens is then
guys in New York.
suddenly the people with ulterior motives come in and slowly indoctrinate them into a different thought process that causes problems, and then they have to pick. And if we were in the situation, we would pick Christian or something of similar ilk. Um, and then suddenly we're fighting something that wasn't really our battle. We're just there, and it's you or me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. But like behind all this, there's a big problem that most of the time we tend to forget that why this is happening in our society or any other society actually. The thing is, this is still the same red and green alliance that happened in Iran. Same thing.
Hmm.
The Marxists and the Islamists are still in power. They're still having an alliance and they still work on our society, our new generation. This is their motto, has been. And honestly, I don't know when they I mean, they're not gonna stop, but when we can stop them. Uh,
Or when
it's
we
been
wake up,
always,
when we wake
yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Lena,
But the
Lena,
thing
you're not
is,
going to
their
say
mom
cunt again, are you?
was that.
You're not going to say cunt again, are you?
I don't know when
We'll get there.
Yeah, but the thing is, we have one big uh people like George Soros, which they sit back, they just fund the group of people to go and scream in a college campus and influence the people that they have no idea what is it like to fight in the front line, to earn the freedom, to protect the freedom, and they think the ideology is everything. And I can't believe my own eyes, the seeing like American people growing up in the best possible way, having everything that you could possibly imagine, and yet be so mad that you could see the redness in their eyes and
Hmm.
the
Well,
to the
and
point that they get mad but for nothing, for what? And they are
for
speaking,
me,
for example, free Palestine. Like, what do you know about Palestine? What do you know? Who is behind this ideology? What do you know? My problem is we tend to avoid the big question. This is George Soros and such, Klaus Schwab, uh, you know, fundamental motto. They are funding these little groups, and most of them are paid beside the
Hmm.
new generation, the Gen Z in the society. They are funding, like lots of them are getting paid. They're they're on a payroll. That's why they can get it, on the street
well,
Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
the
they're
thing
like
that
professionals.
chaps my ass is they hate the country that's maybe one of the only countries in the world where they can say I hate this country and we don't fucking shoot them in the street.
So,
You know what I mean?
so
Like
again,
you have the freedom to hate
absolutely.
this country. That is the beauty of this country.
So again, like if we had a better party or if we had more power, we should have been able to sue these organizations, to sue this even little groups that they go out and fight, stop the war in Iran, or they're screaming, we support IRGC. Really? This is not a
Yeah.
free speech.
I
Well,
haven't seen
Where
that
is
yet. When I see that, I'm going to lose my shit.
Oh,
oh,
in New
it's
York,
yeah,
I
just
have the
turn on
video.
the radio. Yes, turn
Yeah,
on
yeah, I
YouTube.
have the video. I can send it to you. In New York, they have a sign. It says, I support IRGC. Really? Like,
But
I-
here's but here's the thing. They are people who are in America, but they are not Americans. And people will yell at me about that and they'll say, well, they're citizens, they were born here. And again, we've said this a million times on this show, but being American isn't about geography.
absolutely.
It's an idea, it's a belief system,
It's
it's the
believe in
whole
the
thing.
Constitution.
Yeah, and these people don't believe that. And what we're dealing
Correct.
with on a global level is, again, there's nothing new about this. This has been going on at
There
least
is something new about
our
this.
whole lives. Some is new, but
Well, no, but if I may, I'm sorry for interrupting, but here's the interesting new thing about this is a year ago, if I were to say I'm proud of what we're doing in Iran, I would have been shit upon. Instead, what my leftist compatriots are saying is, I don't want to talk about it, which means
they have nothing to
got
say.
nothing. They got nothing to say
Yeah.
because for me,
Well,
when I'm talking about it, I'm usually talking about a woman should be able to walk around and not have to wear a fucking headdress. I'm not saying I'm not against that
if you
cultural
want to.
thing. I'm against the lack of an option to wear it or not. And most certainly,
Liberty.
what her name was Masha Amani, was that her name?
Yes,
Yeah.
Masa.
The fact that she was fucking murdered for some hair hanging out from under her
Yeah.
hijab is offensive, doesn't even cover it.
Yeah.
Um,
But the people who will uh do this to you, Zeus, for bringing that up will will throw you to the wolves for bringing it up. Like they'll say you're a horrible
But I
person
don't think they're
for
doing that
mentioning
anymore. I think
this.
they're finding this as
Well,
an
some
indefensible
some are. Well,
argument.
here's
That's
the
exactly what I was about to actually say, that we, as an American, most of us don't know where to draw the line between the freedom of
This is it.
speech and, like
Common
preaching for
decency.
terrorism. We don't
well,
know that. Most of Americans don't know that. Most of Americans don't know anything about uh, Brandenburg versus Ohio. Most
That's
of
because of this.
Americans don't know what's that.
It's because of this.
Oh,
well,
yeah, yeah.
that but
Or
here's
most of people don't know what is the act of patriotism in our First Amendment. They don't know. When you go out and you preach the terrorism, you fund them or you advertise for them, this is against our freedom of speech. This is not a freedom of
well,
speech no more. This is act of terrorism. You don't have to, like, of course, I know the left has gone too far. They already killed Charlie Kirk. They're already doing a lot of, burning the cities and demolishing a lot of things and stuff. But at the same time, even when they are out there and they peaceful, but they say, I am for IRGC, IRGC has been legit on the list of terrorists. So when
well,
you're out there opposing against that, it's not opposing against war. This is moral confusion. And this goes against many of our lines that we like. If we had a lawyer and if we had organizations, we could sue them.
well,
This is something that most of Americans don't know, and they are like, okay, it's a freedom of speech. You can go out there and say I'm with IRGC.
You know,
yeah.
though, fuck suing. Fuck suing. We're beyond that. This
Of
is
course,
action. Suing. Oh, let's go to court. Let's talk about people dying as they're dying. Fuck suing. Let's
I'm
do
talking
some
about
fucking
legal
damage.
Yeah.
I know. I'm
action.
not beating you up. I'm saying we're beyond that. This is,
Yeah,
as Mike said earlier, this is existential. And again, you and I have had differences of opinion on this. I don't believe that, and maybe it's my whole thing about assimilation and changing us, but I know a great deal of Muslim people that are very sweet and kind. We're talking about Islamist radicals in
Correct.
Iran. I want
no,
to make
not
that
correct.
clear,
I
and you
disagree.
may,
Only difference
well,
between
hold on.
radical Islamist and Islamist is the word radical.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is not to cause an argument with you. I I do feel that there are a lot of really good, and we talked about it. I feel like we're reaching this point where there's going to be a hybridization of Muslim believers, the ones that take the good from the Quran, like very much like Christians do. And and I think that that is maybe a good thing if we can get to a point where we go, oh, let's not kill. That's a good one.
But
Oh,
but
let's love thy
Zeus,
neighbor. That's
but
a good one.
but
And not
Zeus,
let's kill infidels because, or let's kill non-Christians.
it
I want to get to that place. I
but
want
it
to,
only works like there's
if
one
everybody
side
plays
that
along.
believes that and there's another side that doesn't believe that. So to say, well, we need to get to this point, it's like I'm already at that point. They're the ones that aren't at that point.
Right.
And what
And that's
we're
fine. That's fine. They
right, this isn't
also are
like
a
we
little
both
late to the
have to get
game in this.
along. It's like they have to get along. Like we
I
are getting along. Like
I
they
really
are the
feel
problem.
like I really feel like it is happening though. I really feel like
But
there is a league of Muslim uh people out there that are, it's not takia. They're not lying to us to promote some
yeah, but
evil plan. I think there are just some good people that much like Christians
here
that are trying to live good lives, and they focus on the positives and eliminate the negatives.
but
I think there are a lot of them,
but it
and that's
comes
what I'm
down
hoping will filter through.
but it comes
So
down to
maybe,
behavior. Let me just, it comes down to behavior. So most people who are rational don't care about what other people think about stuff. They care about actions, right? So it's like when we get into like the whole transgender thing and people are like, well, you just hate. I'm like, I don't care. Like we've all said this a million times on the
Yeah, I
show.
don't give a fuck.
If you're an adult, like whatever, do what you want. It's when
It's
you're
when it's
like
the
trying
kids.
to
Yeah.
push it on kids and push it on my kids, and people are like, well, that's crazy. And we can get into the school system where I live. Anyway, what we're dealing with right now is it is a global left, right? And which has never gone away. It's been around, and we go back to Marxism, and it was around even before that. And you basically have people that believe that humans are basically bad and that they need to be controlled and that there's only a certain group of people that can steer the ship and they need to be in control and everyone else needs to be subjugated. And then you have people who are liberty loving people who believe in the divinity of people, right? And that people are good, and that if you unleash human potential, great things will happen in society, and that
And that's where
power
I'm
needs
at.
to be separated amongst as many groups in the government as possible so no one's in charge. So those are the two dynamics. On one side, you've got the global left that has captured, and when I say captured, I mean captured the media, and I'm talking about the global media. They've
Mm-hmm.
captured the education, right? Education in general, as I mean,
Yeah,
they started with college, and now it's all the way down to kindergarten. Again, we
correct.
could do a whole episode on that. And worse, the worst thing, and as much as I talk about the party and all that, I'm really going to say something that I'm sad about it. They've captured the Democrat Party. They've captured one of the two political parties in the United
Correct.
States, and they are not the Democrats that we grew up with, and they're not the
Correct.
Democrats that was your granddad, right? They've captured that party and they are using it politically uh, for power. So the dynamic that we're in right now, and when you look at someone like Trump and you look at people that support Trump, you know, the other countries around the Middle East, the Saudi Arabias, the UAE, not so much Qatar, um, you know, I'm not saying these are all angels, and I'm not saying these are all like great allies of ours,
Yeah, they're
but
not
they've been
altruists. Nobody
living,
in politics is an
right,
altruist.
but they've been living with this hornet's nest in Tehran for just like everyone else in the world has for like 4 decades plus. And they've been calling the shots. They have been destabilizing. You've got Houthis in Yemen. You've got Iran attacking Saudi Arabia over the years using proxies. You've got Iran using Hamas to attack Israel. I mean, look at what they did when we attacked them. They sent missiles out to all of their neighbors, like all in the area. So right now we're in a situation where we have a president who sees clearly, who is not part of the global left, who recognized that Iran is in a unique, weak season right now.
Yeah, this
And we
is the
took out
time.
this, if you're going to do it, and I'm telling you, for everyone that says like, oh, he's, no kings, he wants to be in 3 terms. If he planned on being in for 3 terms or 4 terms or
This
whatever,
isn't how
he
he would
wouldn't
do
be doing it now. He's
it.
like, the clock is running out. Like literally, I'm sure somewhere he's got, what is it, January 20th, 2020, what is it? 29 is when he leaves. Um, he, and heaven forbid if the party, right, the leftist controlled party wins the next election. I mean, he's doing everything. He is just running the table as fast. That's why everything is happening like this fast. Everything is just flying. Like he's doing all
Yeah,
this stuff.
Cuba's next, probably.
But what I'm saying is, and all of that is geopolitics. The whole thing, it's the Monroe Doctrine. We talked about this with Venezuela. He didn't like China and Russia's influence in Venezuela. He does not like their influence in Cuba. No one's like that. And he doesn't like it in Iran. And the fact that Iran and Russia and China are all in this like triumvirate, and look who hasn't come to the aid of Iran. To me, of all of this stuff going on, that is the most interesting thing. Iran or China and Russia are sitting this one out. And
Still.
and and that
Because they
is
know that the image will not be good.
and they also know that Iran is weak. because they know it's the season as well. And they're
Be
not
right
going to
back, guys.
they're not going to push all their chips in on this hand, right? This, if you're at a poker table and Iran's got a hand, you're not putting all your chips in because Iran has crappy cards. They don't have any cards. So everyone's
Well,
leaving them
I'm sure President Trump is not, rookie, and I'm sure he has made sure of that behind the closed
behind the
door. Who knows
scenes.
what kind of, talk he have had
Yeah.
with them or deals or whatever.
I'm sure they knew.
But
I'm sure Xi
China,
and Putin knew about this before it happened,
absolutely, and
or knew
China
it
and
was a good
Russia
chance.
desperately needed the oil in Venezuela and in Iran, but
Yeah.
President Trump knew this, and President Trump made sure of eliminating those threats absolutely before he goes in. Absolutely. But this is something that really he did it for um, to avoid their China and Russia's geopolitically rising.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they desperately needed this oil, so he is weakening them. So one stone and three birds, here we are.
Yeah.
And I hope on the way back he stops in London and then Cuba.
Well, real quick, just to jump in, because Desiree joined us like 4 hours ago. How you doing? Did so your internet came back on with
Yes, it came
your,
back on.
and so you're dealing with a nader over there,
Not right
or a
now. Not
storm? Okay.
It wasn't a nader, it was just hail.
Okay.
But
I mean, three
um
big hail. That's
well,
bad.
it wasn't, it didn't end up being that big. It was just like maybe ping pong. No, like golf
That's
ball.
that's way
Something.
big. That's bigger than I've ever seen in my life. So,
Really?
yeah, I've never seen
Oh,
hail that
dude, I
big.
should get you. I should go grab some outside. It's probably all
Yeah.
melted by now,
Well,
but
I live in on the mid-Atlantic, man. We don't get
yeah, but it
tornadoes.
don't hail out there?
Not like that. We get like maybe this biggest one I've ever seen is like a marble
A
Yeah.
size.
marble. That happens every time it storms here.
Yeah.
Shit, that ain't nothing.
But you're
It's par
doing
for the course.
how are you doing?
Well, I mean, the roof is still on the house,
There you
so
go. That's good.
Where do you
I
live
haven't checked the car. Kansas.
Just like Dorothy, Kansas.
Yep, Dorothy.
Wichita. Wichita,
The
Kansas.
TA, the ICT 316,
Central America.
South Central. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
In the
right in the
middle,
heartland.
right in the heartland. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I wanted to acknowledge that you joined
No,
us
it's
here.
okay. No, I came on and then I just got knocked off, so.
Yeah.
in?
But Lena,
Oh,
like what you're saying, do you and what you're saying about people here in the United States that are kind of buying into this, part of it, and when I talk about like the global left, the thing that is seductive is that this ideology that they have is that whatever the issue is that's bad, and these are political systems in China, in Russia, in Iran that do not put their people first, do not believe in liberty. So there's always like shortages or something's not working or get in line for bread or whatever. And all the problems, the what Marxism does and leftism does is it points the finger and it says, that guy over there is the reason why you are suffering. And that guy over there is the United States right now. And there's people that are ignorant enough that don't understand what's going on, that they're just like, oh yeah, man. And I'm not saying everything with the United States is great. There's a lot of horrible people here. There's a lot of horrible things that our
Big
government has
pharma,
done.
yeah,
You can just
lots.
look at all of our episodes and find that out. But in general, we
no,
are a country
absolutely.
where people, you can get out of life what you put into it. And that is not what these countries want their people
They
to
don't
be
want
thinking.
empowerment.
Because if you look behind the curtain and you see that the mullahs are stealing the wealth and suppressing you, and it's not the great Satan, it's your government in Tehran that's doing it. That's not
Well,
good for them.
I
So
th
they have to always point it. And we have useful idiots in our country. Most of them are college age kids. They are Caucasian. They are left. They are leftists. They're mostly urban, and they buy into this because, well, I don't know, maybe they have guilt. I have no idea. White fragility, whatever you want to call it, the people have called it over the years, but they feel as though they're getting something they haven't earned, and they feel like they can cleanse themselves by hating, the government. I don't know. I'm kind of oversimplifying it, but that's
No,
kind
you
of
are
the
No,
absolutely
I
right.
dynamic.
think,
Yeah.
if I may, sorry, Lena, I think it's a question of empowerment versus entitlement. And right now in the US, we got a lot of entitled people. I don't have, you do, so give me some of that.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
Whereas empowerment was what the US started on. It's pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Listen, I was a high school dropout, straight up dropout. If I would have done the 10th grade a third time, they were going to let me start teaching it. I was a
Hmm.
fucking loser. Here I am now. I
On the
I've got
beach,
six.
down
Yeah,
Aruba,
Daring.
I'm in Costa Rica,
at
the
your
only safe
beach
place in the
house.
world.
Yeah.
No, but here I am now. I'm doing pretty good by the national average. I'm killing it. So that
Did
for
you
me
have
is
anything
America.
to did you have anything to do with that?
I had
Of
everything
course.
to do with
Yes,
that.
that's my point. Yes.
And that is where, and I see sometimes I see it with children that I might be associated with, where they're just like, well, you gotta buy dinner. I can't possibly make a sandwich. I mean,
It's hard to make a sandwich.
It
what's
is.
that?
It's hard to make a good sandwich.
You
Yeah,
know
it
what?
can be. You'd have to have a pickle. Pickles are necessary for
But
any
but my but
sandwich.
my point is that so many people right now just feel like they deserve because and they don't realize that they deserve if that is true and they deserve because it's because they're in this
They're,
country.
they're being taught that. They're not just coming. The
And I
education
think
is telling
that's
them,
the
the
most
media is telling them, and the Democrat Party is telling them. It's
I think
this
that's the most subversive thing about that is ruin
very
our kids
subversive.
and you ruin our future.
Yes.
And I'm not saying my
Best
kids are
them up.
ruined, but they do have a like, well, it's Saturday. I get to play games on the computer for an hour. Well, no, you
Just an
really
hour?
don't.
Oh,
Whatever. But my point is no.
but it's
I
not
pay
the. Yeah,
my
it's not.
when my kid goes to me, he'll come to me and go, "You're on your phone all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, I pay a mortgage. I feed people. What are you doing to enjoy the same luxuries that I do?" You know?
But they're also growing. It's the ones that are like 20 that where I think where it starts to really be a problem. But to your point, you kind of have to start earlier than that, or you're going to end up with them. But
May
anyway,
have dropped the ball.
Well, I would say the bigger picture is that the left, this Marxist and Islamist people, know how to brainwash people, no matter where it
yes,
is. If
that's
it's
a
in America or if it's in Iran, you think Iranians had the real good of life like American had? No, they always find something to influence and brainwash our children. Like, what about the other societies? They're not as entitled as like Americans are, or the problems they find uh, they have money and they have power. And so of course they have the biggest, you know, psychiatric or I don't know, people that who can tell them how you can play with this little children's mind. They know where to exactly how to find the weakest point of that
mhm.
society, whatever it is in whatever society is. If it's a
Children. Yeah,
Muslim society, if it's a American, but what they are against exactly, it's American Constitution because it provides individual freedom. And as long as there is one society that has individual freedom, it's against everything that they go for, that they root for. That's why America is under attack right now, because America is the only country that is left with freedom. I
yep,
don't give a fuck about democracy. Democracy is if three of you are
right.
ready to kill me, I
Yeah,
have to
we could
die.
vote.
But in the
Yeah,
freedom, no. In the freedom, I vote for my freedom and that's it. I do believe in a democracy in some level for the public safety, but after that, it comes to individual freedom, and no other country has this.
yeah.
And
And
Checks and balances.
another
and
thing that
interesting.
it's under attack is capitalism.
Hmm.
They made a big deal out of the capitalism that they pretend that the capitalism it means the capital is in the hand of the big people, while this is the big lie.
No,
And
they mean
capitalism
money,
means
capital, money. They mean
means
capital.
which means I know I'm saying that they
Yeah.
have pretended that they put it this idea that capitalism means that Trump has all the capital, all the money, and we have nothing. While capitalism means that I have capital, you have capital, everybody has capital, money, everybody has power, which that again comes from the individual freedom. They're attacking this because as long as there are people like us, like Americans, who own house, who own equity, who own money, who their bank account is full, they have never, they don't struggle for their dinner. This is a threat to leftists, to Marxists, because
Correct.
we are the example of the, for outside in the internet, when we share our luxury life, when we share that we don't have to buy bread with a coupon, that
It
means we are threat. This is what they
it
are attacking.
That's a great point, Lena, because if you are self-sufficient, if you can take care of yourself, then you don't need them to take care of you, and hence they have
Correct.
no power over you.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
The individual freedom.
I made an observation earlier. We were using the word patriot a lot. And is there another word for that in other governments? Like patriot is, I feel like it's distinct to America. Like not nationalist, not any of those things, but patriot. Like, can you think of another country where there's a word that is similar to that? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
no, I
that
do.
is
Yeah. Like in
distinct
other
to
words,
us,
if someone lives in England and they are
pro England.
pro England, are they a patriot? I
I
guess.
don't
I
think
mean,
so.
by
I don't think anybody
definition,
else can use that word.
I don't know. I don't think it's a I mean, I've
Maybe
heard the
they're
word
pro kingdom.
partisan.
I
Yeah,
know four other language. Sorry, three. I know
yeah,
three other language, and no, there is no word for it.
Yeah,
yeah.
patriot is true to us, and it's what we've really got to be. I'm not saying guns in the streets. I'm not saying war with ourselves, but to remain
But
patriotic. Like I
They
was in the military.
there is a word that it's equivalent to people who love their own country, but mostly it's like a nationalism.
Right.
And then the ideology of being an American, then as you said, like American is not just a race.
Yeah.
I consider myself, more American than maybe 90% of the society.
yeah,
I'll die for this country, and I don't care whoever
it's a
says what.
mindset. It's a belief system.
Absolutely
It's not an ideal. It's a I'm American. I'm going to fight for America, but it's not a nationalist thing. It's a very
correct.
interesting word that I'd love.
I
We should. It would be interesting to look into the genesis of the actual word, and
I think this.
because
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I'm saying I think that the difference is, and I'm not saying all countries, and I'm not saying everyone in England, because England has a parliamentary system, I guess, but it's not really a republic, but and they don't have freedom of speech there.
Well,
But there's other
No,
countries that are the people are subjects. So they would call it nationalism, or if you're a partisan and that
what?
you support your government. But in the United
you're right.
States, the power is among the people. So if you
People.
are a patriot, it means that you support the idea
Well,
that power comes from the
and the
people
Within.
in
interesting
the
thing about
country.
that is there are Democrats. I'm not saying left, hard left, anything like that, but there are Democrats that could say they're patriots, and I would be like, sure you are. That's fine. You know what I mean? Like that, not the hard fucking
Well, I
throwing
mean,
bricks in the
everything's,
streets.
yeah,
Cause
there's always a
and I
scale.
can buy that because patriot just has a different meaning. than I think any of the other stuff that you could try and apply to it. It truly is. It's like an American thing. Like I said, I was in the military. True patriots are definitely in the military. That's fine. But I think there are other patriots out there that love
Okay.
America. They appreciate the right that they can argue with their government and say that's not right. Those are real patriots. I'm sorry, I kind of digress, but I thought it was important that we address the meaning of that word. And we could probably do some research into what it's really about
Can
because
can I read
it's different.
the just for our viewer out there? So the definition from Merriam-Webster, a patriot is defined as a person who vigorously supports, defends, and loves their country. It entails devotion to a nation's interests. In other words, so that's key, not just to the nation's leadership, but to the nation's interest, often with a willingness to sacrifice for its welfare. Synonyms include loyalist, nationalist, and champion, while usage ranges from historical revolutionaries to contemporary daily civic engagement. Um, yeah. So
It
it's not
doesn't mention anything about
it
America,
no, it doesn't have to be,
but
but it kind of fits. And I think where the worm turns on this is your devotion to the nation's ideals and interests and not devotion to the supreme leader, right? So in Iran, the IRGC, they are devoted to the supreme leader, whoever that is. And that's why they're so weak, because he has a missile fall on his head and he's dead. And then they have to get another supreme leader because without that, in the United States, we have lines of succession that are already defined. And even if everyone in the government were to die, we have a concept of what government and self-rule is about. I think we would figure it out because we're already wired that way. I think that's where the difference is. It's a loyalty to the ideals of the country and not necessarily I'm wearing this jersey and I'm just blindly following this leader guy. I don't know. Maybe
I
that's a
just
subtle difference,
like let's
but
say Saudi Arabia, you don't have somebody in Saudi Arabia saying, I'm a patriot.
right.
Because
You'd have someone
immediately
that's
if when I hear the word patriot,
of
I'm
what?
like in my head, I'm seeing stars and stripes.
And
There's
eagles flying
just
around,
right, driving Fords
driving
through
pickup
through mud,
trucks, eagles driving pickup trucks off cliffs.
putting up drywall, buying guns.
In any
Yeah,
other country, if they have like the word patriot, it's about either their race, like for example, in Iran, if they are patriot, it's about Persian empowerment and the big Cyrus and all that. Like it goes to their race. I'm not saying they're racist, but all they know about patriotism, it's to be proud of the culture that they come from. So in order to that, so they go back to who they are as one nation, which is only Persians. Or when you go back to Turkey, Turkey is the same way. They are proud that we are Turks. But only in America, someone like me can come here and after 5 years get a citizenship. And
yeah.
in my
And
my
you can say
citizenship,
you're a what?
American,
American.
No,
Yeah, any
what? What's the word we've
patriot.
been talking about?
Patriot.
patriot.
You're a patriot. It's
I
it's a
am
unique
proudly
word.
Yeah,
I and in my citizenship, it says that you are American now. The culture of America is your culture now.
correct.
The land is your land now. Nowhere in this world would say that when
Well,
you
you
get a
but
citizen.
to argue that you can't own things on stolen land. I
Oh
just wanted to
God,
get
man, don't start. Hey Jack, you got to save us, man.
All land is
Calgon,
stolen
take us
land.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where you guys left off before. It's an interesting conversation though, because it's like the distinction between like nationalists, like you said, the true distinction one would think is just loyalty to the government.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
think
the
there's a
way
difference though.
but
Yeah.
but in this case it's different because in America the media refers to white nationalists not as people that support their government. That's not what they're about. You know what I mean? Like so specifically here that word's not used the same. Like it's
They
almost like
It's an
It-
honored word. Like when you say Ronald
Like,
Reagan was a true patriot.
yeah.
Like I said, when you hear the word, you
No,
see
Zeus, I get the patriot thing. I'm talking about the nationalist thing because, like, when they label people nationalists, they're not saying that these people support the government. Like,
they're calling
they're
them
yeah,
saying that
Nazis.
these people support
it's
some ideal.
it's a derogatory
Well,
term.
they
Oh,
make
it's
it
so very
They make
offensive.
it.
they make it derogatory, but it's off the mark by the pure definition. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
these are people that are like militia people. Like they don't like the government at all.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So maybe there's no word for them, but when they say Christian nationalists, like I think like I love this nation. That is
I
the
get
idea.
skeevies when I hear that
And
stuff.
so like I'm Christian and I do put this nation before others. So does that make me a Christian nationalist? Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So maybe I fall into their umbrella label just because of that, how
But
they
not
see the
necessarily their
difference.
ideals.
Right.
And there is nothing wrong with that, but only in America made it so wrong to be part of a group or to have a style or have a type or whatever you like. Like sometimes people like, oh my God, if you don't want to, I don't know, marry a black dude, it's racist. Just like,
Right. Right.
really, it's my type. For
Yeah.
example,
Well,
I'm
and
just
I
saying,
think
this
and
is
I
the
think that
smallest.
is I think that is so at the core of what's the problem right now is we've got these people that cause dissent on like nuclear bomb levels. Like right now we're talking Iran. Next week some African American guy is going to get shot by the cops, and that's going to be the topic that keeps us fighting with each other instead of focusing on shit that's real, like starving people, women in Iran who cannot walk around without a fucking hood. Excuse, I know it's a hijab, but I just find
There's a sheet.
it's fucking 2025, man. Like
It's
back
no.
in the old days in the U.S., if a woman showed some ankle, oh my God, we got to she's either a whore or you know what I mean.
We
And
used to throw them off of buildings.
we've evolved beyond
No,
that.
no.
Why isn't the rest of the world evolving with us societally?
Well,
Wait,
evolve. I mean,
wait,
that's a
wait,
loaded
wait,
term too,
wait.
evolving.
Just
But
I mean, it's also devil's advocate time, I think, because you
yeah,
could say
You son of a
you
bitch!
no, you could no, when it comes to the culture of another country, like the days of pure colonialism and imposing our culture on theirs, like you know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. It's one thing to police the world, which I think is the case with Iran. But to just say, "Oh well, your culture sucks. We're going to
Oh, I'm
change
not
it."
saying that at all. I'm saying that there are 90% of the country that are held under 10% rule. And the 10% rule says that if you don't follow these laws, we could rape you, we could kill you.
Yeah, no, the country's totally screwed up. But again, it's another part of the world, and how involved do we get in other people's? You know what I mean? Like again, if that's what they
I
got
agree,
going
Jeff.
on there,
We
do
give
we
them the
do we just
ability.
step
That's
into
all we
every
do.
country? Do we step into every country where there's some level of atrocity and police the world? Like, are we supposed to do that?
I feel like that's kind of become our lot in life as
well,
Americans.
I will push back on that a little bit because
Okay,
people
good.
say, yeah,
Yeah, I
I mean,
don't think we should
people
be policing the world, but I
no,
mean,
and I don't know that we are. I mean, again, I've heard that my whole life that we're like the world's police.
World Police,
But
Team
the thing
America,
is,
America, fuck you.
but if we were the world police, why, there's a million things we would be doing. I would posit that it is
Don't go
always
positing.
it is always perceived, at least, I'm not saying it is, but the powers that be believe it to be in our best interest. Now, who is our? Is our the
And who's
people?
the powers that be?
Is our corporations? Is our a political party? Who knows what our is necessarily?
Right.
But I don't think the United States, I think it's a surface level evaluation to say that we are policing the world. It just like with Iran, just like what we did in Venezuela, it wasn't there's a million drug cartels out there that send drugs to our country that we don't take their leader away. We did
Right.
that because again,
Well, that's
China was getting a foothold there.
no,
We're
no, Mike,
supplying
I'm not
oil to
arguing the
Cuba.
reality. I'm
Yeah,
not arguing why we did what we did, like which I totally support. Like I
yeah.
I
get why we did
100%
it.
support it.
I was just counterpointing to Zeus's not rant, but Zeus when he was going on about the women in hijabs and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
we're
that's their
not going to a war
culture.
for that. I would
Yeah, we
never
didn't
go
Yeah,
go
to
to
war
war
for
for
that.
that.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
didn't go to war for that. I agree. What I'm just saying is it's not our business
didn't
to go
we?
do that based
it's
on people's
not.
culture.
It's not because
Didn't
look,
we,
Absolutely.
Leo?
if people want,
What this country, what these people don't know where to draw the line is if you stand for human rights, you cannot ignore what is happening in Iran, what is the
yeah,
regime does to its own nation, and peace doesn't come from appeasing the extremists. It
correct.
comes
No,
from
no, no, Lena,
confronting
I
them.
get it. Lena, personally, I totally get it. But again, it goes back to if we stepped into every country where some kind of atrocity is taking place on the people because of the rule, which you could say about so many countries,
We'd
do we
never.
walk into all of them? Like
No,
we
no, no, no,
couldn't
no.
possibly.
Absolutely.
No, you know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Call him
And
a
I think
cunt. Call him a
and I
cunt, Lena. Call him a cunt.
no, and I think the almost like the I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but the fact that Iran, the reason why we did what we did, if this all works, the benefit that comes will be the liberation of the Iranian people. I mean, that's
Which
Yeah,
they benefit
but
from, but
Jack,
that wasn't our goal. Yeah,
the
absolutely.
genesis of that was women were walking on the streets with no hijabs. And again, I don't have an issue
no,
with that
Zeus,
if
I
you
get it.
want to. But
No, no,
but
no.
but
My
but it
point
really was the
actually
genesis
was,
of all this. It
sorry, I
really
think we had
was
a,
what this all started from was women walking out on the streets and saying, "Fuck you. I'm gonna let my beautiful Iranian hair flow."
But Zeus,
And
that's not why we invaded. That's not why we're attacking them.
Yeah,
we
It's
don't
otherwise
know
not.
about that.
we'd be invading Lancaster, Pennsylvania
Well,
Yeah.
with the
fuck
Amish.
Lancaster. Those
right.
guys are jackasses.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, no disrespect to anybody who's protested over there, but that's not why we got involved.
That's yeah,
Exactly.
Now
it's a
if it,
marketing reason.
it's totally yeah, and
I,
if this all works out, then Iran ends up being a free country, awesome. Like I hope that
yeah, good for
happens.
them.
Okay, but here's my
But
point.
that's
Here's my
not why
point.
we did what
That's
we
why
did.
I support it. So there's other people like me
Oh,
that feel
totally.
like
They're
that
wait,
is a perfect
yeah.
reason to fucking do it. I've used this line from a movie. Jack will know it immediately, but mother is the word for God on the lips and in the hearts of babes. When they are fucking killing women in the streets, us guys, us real men, and I'm not saying I'm a badass. I throw
You
fists
are
in bars
Zeus.
or anything,
Yeah,
You're
but
you're
but
badass.
real men
Zeus,
that care, that bothers me more than 90% of this other shit. Is
well,
fucking
right, but
killing
that's not
women
why we
because
did
they
what we
think.
did. That's all I'm saying. That's not
I know,
Yeah,
why
but
we
yeah.
did.
that's why I support it. So
Well, right,
there's
that's beautiful, and I
setup.
agree with you. I agree.
It's an
And
added
look,
benefit.
it hasn't happened yet. Like there's still, you know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
hoping that that's the outcome, but we've seen this movie in other places before. You know what I mean? So I'm hopeful, but I'm not convinced at this point.
You
You
know,
know?
I was talking to somebody today. You guys have all met them. I won't even give their gender, but they were saying, "Oh, now it's coming out. They're going after the nukes." I'm like, "What is bad about that?"
That's why.
Like, yes,
That's why we're going there.
they're
Yeah.
liberating a country and they're getting rid of the nukes. What is your complaint about a country that wants to that literally
Look,
on their national news said death to America?
for
What have you
50
got a problem with us removing those
dude, they've
capabilities
been
of
saying that since 1979. I mean, at a
no, but
certain point,
it's
you
more
have
the
to
point of this
believe them.
person. It's more the point of this person saying that they've got ulterior
Here,
motives. Of
but
course they do. They're politicians.
here's the question.
Wait, they
What's the
actually
question, Mike?
go ahead, Mike.
I'm saying if here's the little thought experiment, okay? Suppose none of this attack that we just did 11 days ago started. What if it never happened, okay? What if the Ayatollah was still alive? And what if they had a working ballistic missile system that could travel
Just
4,000
one.
miles
Just
or
fucking
multiple, or
one.
just one, and they had they could put like a 10 megaton warhead on that.
Right, if that's all
Do you think
true.
they would think twice? If
No,
granted,
no,
Jack,
but no,
but I'm
but
saying,
Mike, it's almost that bad because when they started in the negotiations, they said something like, "We have the capability now to make
yes.
11."
And does anyone think that they wouldn't launch
No,
it? I mean, they
nobody
would do it
thinks
in
that.
2 seconds. I
That
mean,
was what
this was
was
a
so
threat.
disappointing about the person that I spoke to saying that. It's like, how?
How could we not do it?
Look, here's the thing. If you're someone like Trump and the way you look at the world and the way you look at geopolitics, the acceptable level of threat to the United States is zero. That's
Yep.
the acceptable level. And Iran was 85, right, on the
Yeah.
list. And so they got. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
you talk about like the bully on the block or whatever.
Well,
It's like
Mike, well, that's what you call a real reason to do it. Like, you know
that's
what
the
I
real
mean? Like,
Absolutely.
reason.
Absolutely.
and they
Reasons
said
are
And
that,
not
and
bullies.
that's the
my
reason, and that's the reason they said they did it. Like, they didn't say, "Oh, it's to liberate." They didn't say it's to have more of a kick in the nuts for China and Russia. Like
Right.
they, you know what I
Right.
mean? They said,
exactly, that was absolutely kicking them in the nuts. Absolutely,
"Yeah,
China and Russia.
Oh, there she goes
And
with the
what
saucy
I was
talk.
going to clarify, I think Carl joined later and
yeah,
he didn't get my point, but we were talking about how some Americans or just people here in America are against the war in like Iran and they're saying stop the war and all that. And
There
I
yeah,
was saying that, of course, as a human, we all have this responsibility as a human, our moral responsibility to talk about it. But no, if it's not our duty to step in at all. And the only reason we stepped in is because the IRGC is funding the terrorists and is killing
yeah,
American and is threatening America. That's
yeah,
why we stepped in. Otherwise, no, of course, I'm with you. We should not step in. Although after the World War II, there are rules and laws about, the countries that they are killing their own citizen without
yeah,
any consequences, and the human right people, and then I don't know, like United Nations should step in. That's the kind of international law they're saying, but they have not. This is all bullshit. And,
right.
I know what Trump did is kind of like, of course, Iranian people are benefiting from it. They're dancing in the street.
Yeah, it's awesome."
They are counting the missile and they're seeing it as a firework. They call it firework. They're like,
Yeah.
this is our celebration. I know they're benefiting from it, but absolutely, this is not the reason we did it. Of course, they needed the help. Absolutely. But again, this is not the reason we did it. It was about Russia and China's geopolitically
Well,
rise,
And
and of
nukes.
course about the
well,
threat that it's been on United States for 47 years, of
Hey,
That's
course.
I
right.
mean,
Des,
look,
could you
look.
let somebody else talk for a minute?
No, no, but I just got to throw this in there because I think it's a salient point, kind of what Lena was just getting at here. If you look back at, say, World War II, and if you're a Gen Z person right now and you learn about World War II, and it's like, well, why did we send all these GIs over? What was D-Day about? It's like, oh, because, the Holocaust and, Hitler was killing all the Jews. And no, man, like most people didn't even know the Holocaust even was going on until the
No,
war
it was
was
like 3 years
over.
in. It was like
So
three
it
years in
wasn't
before we knew.
like what I'm saying is it was not an altruistic war. The United States entered that war. One, we were attacked, whether it was planned or not, but there was a benefit to the United States that's what happens. I mean, Britain was being attacked. France was being attacked. Russia was being attacked. They had an existential thing. The United States, it was definitely a war of choice. Some people will say it was not a choice because we were attacked, whatever. But we have two oceans. We have an entire population that's armed. I've
Well,
seen The Man in the High
I think
Castle.
that
It's a great show, but that was never going to happen here. So what I'm saying is there's reasons, and then there's marketing, and the marketing is great, and I'm really happy that of what's going on in Iran, but that's not the reason we're doing it. Because if it was, we would be doing it 10 other places right now, because the world could be a real shitty place, you know? There's other reasons that we're doing it.
Well, I think with the World War II argument, a lot of it has to do with Winston Churchill and his fucking bastardly behavior.
Don't get me started, man. All right.
Well, like if you look at
That
it,
son of a bitch.
I know. That son of a bitch.
UN as the United Nations is the one that came up with the R2P, but still Trump is the one that doing it.
Yeah.
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 You know what? I would like, before my life ends, probably like next week, just
Yeah.
a little bit of quiet time. Just a little bit of nobody's angry.
Oh,
Everybody's
it is.
chill.
You know how you achieve that? You turn off the television. You don't look at
I don't even turn on the
the internet.
television.
Don't look at the internet. Life is, did you see how beautiful it was outside today?
Oh,
I don't know. Here
totally.
it was 84 degrees here in
Yep.
the old mid-Atlantic area.
It was very nice today, yes.
So what I'm saying is a lot, and we've talked about this before too, but a lot of this is a choice. Like I've gone up and down. I know Jack has, I know Zeus has. We've talked about it. I don't know about you, Desiree and
What?
Lena, but the more you focus on this stuff, it's like, "Ah." But if you just like start making art and just taking a walk, you'll be like totally fine. Like it's
But that's
really
the
okay.
problem, man. I passively watch the news. It's
I
just
know, I do too.
everything that is said is so fucking stupid.
If for me,
And I'm like,
I've
what?
always said this. I've always said this. If it wasn't for me being a father, one, I wouldn't even have started this show probably, or if I did, it wouldn't have
I
lasted that
started
long.
this show.
No, not. I mean, started on it. Like I didn't start it, but I wouldn't have really committed to it. But I felt so. I just felt so responsible for speaking up because now I got this little person that's going into this world, and I'm like, before I'm like, well, whatever, I don't care, I'm fine, I
And
got
we've got
mine.
like and we've
And
got
then
like an
now I'm just like,
archive.
whoa, that's not cool. I got to make sure everything's cool for her, you know?
The cool thing about this show is even if we never make it big, which I still think we will
We're-
get somewhere,
No.
we've still got this like 200, what is it, 352 or 252, whichever.
252.
We got a shitload of that's my dad,
well,
that's my mom.
We will
that's
never, ever, no one on the show that's ever appeared on the show will be elected to public office. I'm sorry, but that will never
I don't
happen.
know. You and I had a good run. Wilkes Allen. We
I
look
know.
pensive.
But you could splice. Can you imagine splicing together all like a reel of stuff we've said over the years? It
Why
would be like,
not?
if you just took like little like excerpts out of it, I mean, it would just be like, yeah, it would be horrible. I mean, Zeus, 100%. Me, I'm 99%. Jack's
See, I
probably
just
right there at 99%.
Yeah, well, look, maybe we wouldn't get elected, but I would be all for us, just leaking like little short reels of some of our rants on like TikTok or something. That wouldn't hurt.
That's a good idea.
It
I'd like to
wouldn't
say I
hurt.
have some good rants every once in a while.
Yeah, no, I know.
My favorite rant, and I still go back every once in a while, is what was it? The red
Oh, no.
speech.
The red speech, it's my favorite.
What was
That's
that?
my favorite.
Was that
18
a me
at
rant?
18 minutes. At the 18-minute mark, I just
No,
lose
it's
my
Mike.
mind. Yeah,
Oh,
I just
No,
lose my mind.
It's awesome. The red speech episode. Yep.
I'll tell you.
What was it
on
about?
One of the
The red
previous
speech.
episodes that
The
Lena
No,
Biden
what was your
speech.
rant about?
Oh, it was about how Biden was pretty much just a piece of S. Yeah.
Oh.
I will tell you, there was one, and I talked to Mike about it. It was like a couple episodes ago when Lena was on. I was like, Mike, you got to get the Star Spangled Banner playing behind
I know.
her.
I couldn't find it.
You
I
were
couldn't
just
find
like
it.
so
He
patriotic.
did. He was like, when Lena goes off on this thing, you got to just play like the Star Spangled Banner. And I was like, I tried to find it in the episode and I couldn't. And I didn't have
And
time
she was
to
like, fucking
find
cunts,
it.
cunts, cunts,
It was gonna be
cunts.
like,
I never called anyone cunt.
no, it's
I coded
one time.
someone calling someone else.
Yeah.
Right. I see. That's
You
what
are
I
a
think.
lady. We know this.
That was
So,
awesome.
Des, how's the hail?
Yo, what's the check
It
update?
hailed again while we were on, so
Hail.
hail.
Well,
I've never seen a baseball size hail.
Wait,
in my
did
life.
you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about with the situation in
Well,
Iran?
so yeah.
I came in late. So I don't know where, if there was anything else before I looked, before we wrap up. It's still early.
Well,
think
so
we were.
yeah, apparently
They're
they've got.
saying 90%, 80 to 90%, they are slowed down. They are kind of like from the missiles, from the drones, 90% is gone and they don't have the power no more, but it's like 10 to 15% more of the fight
Right.
still exists. And they're saying it went actually much better than what US was expecting. This
Yeah.
is the US side, and Iranian side's already deciding to open a club and dance with YMCA, and
Yeah.
they made the music, and they made the music with the part that Trump said Ayatollah Khamenei is dead. They made tons of music with that. Like,
Wow.
they mix it with like techno music, with the
That's
country
awesome.
music, with lots of, and they are
Have
like,
you,
they're like, we open up
Lena? Have you
club
talked to
and we
anybody
dance.
back home? Have you talked to
Not
anybody?
not
God,
with my family members, because most of them are living in the small towns that they don't have access to Starlink, but it's completely blackout. But with a college actually friend, I talked, and they are dancing, they are celebrating. She is in Tehran, and she
that
Wow.
keeps
makes me
saying that
proud.
Yeah.
if I die, please do not blame Israel or USA, blame IRGC only. We are dancing. And funny, she said Israel and USA are so good that they even know where is their bedroom, and they directly send the missiles to their bedroom so it doesn't affect really the civilians. And if you see it's a school, it's a, I don't know, like civilian, or something, it's a lie, it's IRGC. We can see the missiles. We can, and they can identify the missiles really. They know, and even like Iranians before this war starts, they knew this is gonna be the plan. They keep saying, they keep sending the videos out that, hey, if they're saying in the news this is the school that United States hit and stuff, it's not. This is IRGC's missile. This is IRGC did it. They even know their bedroom, and they're
I
directly.
heard they were like keeping bodies so they could throw them in the wreckage of
Yes,
stuff to make. But you
correct.
know what? You just nailed it right there. I'm proud of what we're doing here, and I think that is the core of the word patriot. I'm proud of what we as a nation are doing to help others. That for me is what patriotism is. It's backing your team for whatever they do as long as it's, kind and just. I think that's where it comes from. Nationalism is more about like, I don't know, it's just different. I understand how people could make the connection that they're the same, but I just don't feel that they
Yeah,
are.
I hear
No, they're
you. I
different.
hear you. I am so proud. I could never be more proud than this time to be an American, that finally there is one president that stood up against this bully. Like, I can't believe Hillary gave them uranium to enrich. Obama gave them money.
Yeah.
Like
Cash.
Biden gave them money, but Trump stood up against them. Trump didn't give a shit about what the rest of the world is gonna say, how they're gonna judge me, or let's be honest, Trump and us Republicans don't have as much as power that the left, the globalists,
I'm actually a
George
registered
Soros and
Democrat.
Klaus Schwab has. But we're still fighting, and the light actually is winning. I'm so proud, and again, mostly proud because he stood up for American and America. And of course, the rest of the world is benefiting from it. Of
Yeah.
course, the Iranians are benefiting from it.
God damn,
But
she's
Well,
making me
this
like
bully
Trump more.
had to go down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Well,
Star Spangled Banner, what minute are we in?
I think well, it's near the end, and I do have to go. I told everyone I had to jump off by 11. But if you guys want
Okay.
to stay on, I'll keep it recording. But
Well, I think
think
it's a
that's a
good
good
time to
No,
time.
wrap it up.
I think
Desiree,
this
do you
is
have
a
any
great
final
episode.
thoughts?
This is, if you want a
No.
title, this is our
Okay.
all-American episode.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All
I
right,
said
everybody,
no
we'll
because I
see you
got
next
on late,
week.
and so I don't even know really honestly what we're
Don't,
talking about. So
Man, we didn't even
yeah,
get to
Des, you were just jabbering on the whole episode.
I
So
was waiting for Desiree to be quiet
I don't
for.
know if you guys can see my phone, but
Oh
like,
yeah.
do you see that?
Is that
That's
Like,
a
you all
pin?
were,
Gandalf and Peter Jackson.
It
Oh,
says it
it looks.
says it says me showing God my memes and explaining how I was trying to save America.
I like it. All
All
right,
right, you pause it
everybody.
so we can
All
talk for
right,
a
we'll
second.
see y'all next week.
Take care,
Adios.
everybody.
See you,
Okay,
buddy.
bye.